5 at 10.
Election night just wrapped up last week, but for a handful of candidates, the campaign isn't over as they face a runoff election in a little more than a month. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Rory Johnston. That runoff, of course, includes the campaign for Nashville mayor, where, as News Channel 5's Jason Lamb explains, the race is on to lure supporters of candidates who didn't make the cut.
Nashville voters have set up a classic battle for the mayoral runoff next month between someone News Channel 5 political analyst Pat Nolan says leans more liberal and someone leaning more conservative.
The one thing these two have in common is they were the most critical about Nashville being on the wrong track. Now, they did it in slightly different ways, but that's the one thing that united them.
This is the city that is...
In Nashville, traditionally a blue island in a red state, Nolan says Alice Rowley will need to focus on picking away votes just outside her base.
Alice Rowley's big challenge is to get enough votes from moderate to dissident Democrats to independents to try to get from where she is at 20% to 50% plus one.
And we see very clearly.
But can Freddie O'Connell unite more liberal voters that make up most of Nashville's base away from candidates who didn't make the runoff to him?
I think the challenge for Freddie O'Connell is to build up his numbers by uniting the other progressive candidates and their supporters behind him. If he can do that, he probably has a chance to win, if not handily, at least by enough to win the race.
It's a battle that will take money to get voters to turn out in the runoff election, just more than 5 weeks away. But Nolan says it'll be an uphill battle for Rowley, if history has anything to do with it. In the 60 years of Nashville's consolidated government, no one who finished second in the main election has ever finished first in the runoff.
So far, nobody's been able to go from second to first. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but so far it hasn't.
But if last week's election taught us anything, Nolan says, it's the voters who have the final say, no matter what the pundits say. Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.